Lord, the enemy was using all of my painful spheres of existence to strike at me. He sought to get me through my strained relationship with my mother. He sought to penetrate me through lies, attacks towards my identity. He sought to confiscate my identity. He sought to buy me. I'm sorry, the perpetrator the enemy used to strike at me sought to gain his happiness in expense of my eternal turmoil and terror. Not today, door bolted. I'd rather me being happy in expense of my perpetrator's internal turmoil and terror, escalate from a burning sense of shame. My perpetrator only stops his toxic behavior when it gets to the borderline of legal repercussions. However, when the behavior poses eternal repercussions, my perpetrator muffles your spirit in your warning of those repercussions, calms his conscience, and goes ahead to committing crimes that lead to destruction. He's ready, he tells me. He's only ready to suck the humanity of another, the streaming blood of the next victim, knocks at my door, bombards me from all directions for me to submit to victimhood again. Lord, no more. You won't permit such an outrage. The cap of his rotten heart has flooded the brim to such an extent that you found yourself to be obliged to intervene. Forgive me, he tells me. He wants forgiveness in exchange for something else. Forgive I must, but exchange I will not make. I will be going to church, he tells me, only under conditions of leeching off of me, sucking out all of the spiritual strength that I have within me. What, am I that much of a fool? No way, this may not be. Church is for him, not for me. I got my need for a church satisfied without having him being my parasite. Lord, tell me what church of all of a sudden, now that I have the upper hand, he decides to appeal to my Christianity? Now that I have the upper hand, he decides to appeal to my Jewishness to get to me? I have enough Jewish appeal and Christian appeal. Before I did not, which is why that trick worked. But now that trick won't. I don't need the trick nor the treating. Lord, tell me what church. Can't I see he's a recluse, a misanthrope? He won't get along with my circle of friends. Just be a dead weight. He knows all of that. But what pushes him into madness is my flesh in his head. Whether that flesh bears thoughts, feelings, harbors a soul, no, that's all subject of torment by taking advantage of it on demand. Lord, would you allow your faithful servant who strives towards you be tortured this way day and night? No, you would sooner send your thunder of wrath unto him and all of his house before you would allow such wickedness to take place. Lord, how terrifying it is that through my perpetrator, the enemy sought to rob me from all that I achieved, and most importantly, rob me of my identity, demolish all that I've built, and shatter all of my dreams. Yet let me roar in victory at my enemy that his operation to break me did not come to pass, simply because you, Lord, are greater. Lord, one request of many. Put the enemy's vessel to shame. Wash his wits. Let him know that there will not be another victim ever again. Time to change from his ways has finally dawned. Time to your coming is fast approaching, furiously ticking. So there is no other way but to change, turn around and start afresh from the beginning. Yet he clings onto me as if I have the power to save him from eternal damnation myself. With his clinging, I am drowning I'm drowning in sin alongside with him. No, Lord, I don't have the power to redeem. Lord, let him cling unto you, because only you have that power. For that, I need to be out of the picture completely, because only in this way will he gently seek you. I am just a tiny weakling that has been stumbled by him. Lord, no more stumbling, no more spiraling down, no more deviltry, no more tricks, only exaction, direction, smooth roads, straight paths without sways and falters. That is what you promised me from here on out. I start a new epoch, a new journey from a new and clean slate. If he is going to church, it has to be done independently, without conditions, with sincerity. No, instead he reads the word of God through the lens of the devil, under the condition of doing so with me. Ulterior motives stink up the air, turning the learning of God into a desecration altogether, when the occupation should be nothing but sacred. Therefore, this may not be. Reading the word of God has to come from the desire to do so within, not conditionally. We'll continue. Love, Alina. Lied to me before I was foolish enough to believe because I thought that there is integrity in him. However, integrity he does not have, and his lies no longer will take root in me. They lost all power, they lost all sting, and for this, Lord, I ask that you put him to shame to the point that he will have no choice but to cry out your name. Promise here, promise there, they're just empty. Lord, is this not a fiend of a person? Lord, one request of many, put him to shame. Help him start his life from afresh. Is this not obvious to him? Is the mess of this evasive? Lord, how does he justify himself in your presence? Lord, do not send any victim his way until that person is not bound to be a victim because you thoroughly worked on the strings of his heart. Lord, put him to shame. Make it burn. Make it hurt. Goodbye forever. He finally submits to my resistance of him. Well, that goodbye will be forever if you will make a conscious choice to be doomed to the pits. Instead, let it be a goodbye until the time being of your coming, until this fallen world will pass into oblivion. Put a barrier between him and me until then. But until then, save him from the eternal hellfire while I will reclaim my identity in you, while I will be restored to humanity, while I will be filled with your power, while you turn me into a weapon against dark forces, while you turn the evil that has been done unto me into good, while you transform the abomination that has been done unto me into your glory. Still, let it be known that my final response to his overbearing imposing of himself is no, sorry, I deserve so much better. I will not allow the devil in him to devour me. Lord, put him to shame. Teach him how to delay his desire for instantaneous gratifications. Teach him how to be mindful of the well-being of others, all while I will reclaim my stolen identity. This is why I need to marry, he tells me. Why? So that you could lock a victim into his legal bondage? No, Lord, before you permit that, teach him repression and self-control, mindfulness of the needs and interests of others. Teach him first how to deny himself and pick up the cross before you permit anything else in his life, Lord. Otherwise, all of his prospect of marriage will turn into demonic rumbles and ruins. Lord, please don't allow it. Prevent all of this simply on the merit of all that I suffered. Do all of that while I will reclaim all that was stolen from me. Most precious of all is the identity that I bear in my breast, established by you at the time of your suffering for my iniquities. It's an identity, Lord, that you granted me long ago, an identity that you won't allow any devils and any perpetrators to ever mess with. With your grace, you have given it to me. It's eternally mine, and whoever challenged it will stand a harsh judgment to the extent that it's better to have a millstone hung around his neck than to have caused a little one like myself to stumble away from my stolen identity. Luke 17:2. Lord, I reclaim it, yet I beg her mercy on that perpetrator of mine. If he will not renounce from his ways only to think about the eternal destiny, only to try to fathom the terror that awaits him, gives me horrors and shivers under my breath. Lord, I beg mercy on his behalf. Lord, I implore under your throne, spare him. Give him the grace to turn away from his ways while I reclaim my identity to never be taken by anyone ever again. Love, Alina.